20 seconds in Thailand, Thailand Rob. Let's sit, yeah. Let's sit here. I want to sit down today and I just want to have a small conversation, kind of like I do with my Patreons, where I just sit down, go over something personal, talk about something one-on-one, not a whole lot of walking around, just kind of straight to the point, get to it, and let you know what's going on. By the way, hello all new Patreons. Thank you very much for signing up. And also before we get started, an update on Kev. Kev, as of today, had to stay one extra day in the hospital for chemo. Hopefully, he's getting out today and going home to rest after the chemo before he starts his radiation. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the link is in below for the GoFundMe. If you want to help out our friend Kev in Thailand, the other YouTuber from Pattaya, he, well, you can see in the link below everything that's going on. Thank you all for the support that you have given so far. It's been truly, truly overwhelming how many people have showed up to show Kev love. So thank you so much. Now, let's talk about the culture of Thailand. So today I wanted to have a sit-down conversation with you about a couple of things, because the last couple of videos that I've done have been about coming over to Thailand either for the first time or considering moving to Thailand after you have traveled here a few times. Many people often hear about how beautiful Thailand is, the land of smiles, the beautiful women, how inexpensive accommodations and electricity and water and just stuff like that is, and it makes it sound like a wonderful place. Especially if you already have your retirement and you're thinking, wow, where can I take my nest egg and live like a millionaire? A guy quoted the other day just saying, hey, millionaire for a month. He comes over for a month, he feels like a millionaire, he spends like a millionaire, even though he's not spending a whole lot. Takes a little bit of money, goes a long way in Thailand. But back to talking about living here, a lot of people may have never considered living in a whole completely other culture. If you've never left your own country, you probably... Joe! Squirrel!
Hi,
hello, how are you?
How are you?
I'm fine, how are you? Good to see you.
Yeah,
Example, me, I had never left America. I had barely even traveled to 10% of America. So I just wanted to share with you some things you may have not thought about living your life in another country. After landing in Thailand, I was in Bangkok at the time. The first thing that hits you when you get onto the streets in many places that I've been in Thailand is the smell. If you've been to Thailand before, you know, and you can leave in the comments the smell that hits you. On the streets, you're gonna have street food everywhere, but you're also gonna have this smell of runoff water, and you'll see grates along the sides of the roads for runoff water. It's not sewage, but it has that distinct smell, and combine that with the street food of cooking, pork, rice, and this runoff water is something you will never forget, and it'll take you a few days to get used to that. A friend of mine asked me about this, and that's basically what it is. You've got street food, and you've got oils that are mixing in with water and going that it's pungent might be a good word. Going into the street foods, they can have a permit to set up temporarily in spots. There is no health inspector that's coming around to make sure that the fire and the coals are a certain temperature. There is nobody to come around and say, how long has this meat been in your refrigerator? If you haven't been to Thailand, you may not have experienced the food bug. Yeah, it happens. To everyone that I've ever met over here, whether it's a mild case or a 2-week-long sick case, including moi. There are not the same regulations for these street food stalls that you will probably be used to in your country. Completely not. Second thing I noticed was appointments. If you make appointments in Thailand, barring taxi cabs, I will say that a taxi cab driver knows that he needs or she needs to pick you up at a specific time so that they can make their money, etc. But just generalized meetings, we laugh and we call it Thai time over here, but the time over here, let me just explain about the Thai time culture. Thai people don't spend hours and hours of preparation time writing down plans, taking weeks or months to plan something. Okay, yeah, if you're going to build a building or something, sure, but the average person, average businesses over here don't plan weeks and weeks and weeks out. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. You could go to a real estate office today, look at the hours on the wall, and how many days they're open a week. Come back the next day and it'll be closed randomly with a sign on it that just says, you know, we went on a holiday. That's just Thai time. If you ask places, are they going to be open tomorrow? They will say, yeah, maybe, not sure. Some places are open 7 days a week, some are not. Some open at 6 every morning, and then 7, and then 5. You don't know. It's Thai time. What's the word for people who have to have regiment? If you're very, very regimental about your specific places that you go every day, Thai time. One thing that's taken me so long to get used to is having the people that I get to know here in Kamala pop in and pop out. Because here, you can have a job. Let's just say that you work at a massage place or a restaurant. The staff here, now try this in America. You can go up one day and say, I want to leave and go back to Bangkok and work for 3 months. And the management will say, sure, no problem. And then you'll say, well, I want to come back in 3 months and work here again. Guess what they say? Sure, no problem. Try that working at Procter & Gamble for 10 years. Although I did have one company I worked for. I have to give the Marriott company some kudos on that. Very flexible. I will have to say that if you are in the hospitality industry, they are very flexible, and you have the possibility of traveling around the world in your own company. That's a good idea if you're young and you haven't thought about it. Thailand Rob tip from Thailand Rob. Depending on where you're from, you're probably not used to having power outages anymore. You probably will in an electrical storm maybe have a short time power outage, but over here it still can happen quite a bit. I'm not saying tons and tons of power outages, but it still happens. It's a normal thing. Even in Bangkok, when I lived there, a heavy rain can produce a power outage. It can. On the topic of rain, flash flooding, even in Bangkok. In Bangkok, there's 6 or 8 inch curves, and when it rains, it becomes a river. Here in Kamala, there are low sections which become miniature lakes for about a day. On that same note, this week in Kamala, we have run out of water. How often in your country do you run out of water? It doesn't happen too much, does it? My home personally has a well. I haven't run out of water, but the restaurants are now having trucks bring water to them because the reservoirs here, we have had our high season, which is no rain. There has not been much any rain at all. So we're all actually looking up now, waiting for a little bit of rain, because it would really help out to have a little bit of rain. Now, having said that, it's going to probably pour down for 3 months and then we'll all be flooded again. Another question I've gotten here recently from several of you is that once you move over here, can you work or do little things? Can you volunteer? My advice to you on this is to go to forums like on Facebook, or find websites dedicated to Thai culture, because you cannot just come over here and work. You cannot just come over here and volunteer. I know it sounds, wait a minute. Being from America, it's unheard of to ever have been turned down for volunteer work. As a matter of fact, you'll see all the time people asking, hey, can you please help volunteer? Hey, please, can you help this? Over here, no. As a matter of fact, you're not even supposed to do simple things like paint. You're not supposed to even paint your own house. You're not supposed to do stuff like that. It's the Thai culture. There is a job for a Thai person to paint your house. If you paint it, the theory is you've taken away a job from a Thai person. Understand? But that's the culture, which goes right into the immigration part. Immigration over here is not the most fun and pleasant thing to deal with. In our countries, we talk about immigrants. Well, over here, that's us. So we have to deal with their rules. And Thailand's immigration is not as easy, let's say, as Vietnam or Cambodia, or it's just, it's a mini layered immigration system over here that we'll talk about this forever and ever and ever, because it just keeps changing day after day after day. And as I've said many times, I will not go into which types of visa and the rules of visas. I will only give general information, because there is no way that the information that is here today will be the same in 1 year. It will not. Some of it will be, but some of it won't. There's so many more things that we could talk about when it comes to the culture, and I could go on and on. As a matter of fact, in the comments, if you want to, you can ask some questions and we'll see if the community can answer them for you, or I can touch base on it later. But just think about, before moving over here, the cultural changes that you would go to, which is why I always recommend coming over here for a 3-month holiday and checking it out, because people have come over here and left. It wasn't for them. It did not fit their model. You've heard the old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. There are some old dogs that come over here that it's not for them. It just didn't work out. So I'm gonna finish up now. Patreons, I'm gonna finish up a little bit more on this topic on Patreon. Thank you all for all your support on my channel, Kev's channel, Kev's hospital stay. You guys have been more than wonderful. Thank you. I look forward to meeting you when you come over here, because there's so many of you coming over here in the next 2 months. I've gotten every day an email from one of you saying that you're gonna come over here and you wanna hang out and at the beach. So I'll see you when you get here. Thank you for everything. Love you. Have a nice day. Bye.
Can you take this asshole back to America, please?
Goody goody. Don't forget that.